There's a legend in these parts about Bigfoot. As he was wandering through the forest, he thought about having a podcast. Then he walked and thought and walked and thought. Then he came across a little bunny and he pondered, I wonder if that bunny would be my co-host. And the rest, it was history.
Welcome to the Dark Horse Paranormal Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Carr.
And I am Kristen Johnson.
Hello, paranormal peeps.
Hello, friends.
How are you guys?
We missed you.
I see a lot of you guys out there. So nice to see you again. Hello, Joanne. We are glad to be back. Thank you so much. Hello, Carol.
Hi, Carol.
How are you? How you guys been? You enjoying your summer? Carol says hello to Rex, who will be bringing on sexy Rex in just a moment. Let's see. Oh, what's this? He ate the bunny over an open fire. Well, that is our Dr. Michael Lynch introduction that he made for us, and we love that guy. Just gonna say it right here, make a stand. We think he's the best, and we can't wait to have him back on our show. He's awesome. Hello, Bob. What's going on? Mr. Bob Burnell. What's going on? And Mort Ali, I see you out there too.
Hi, Mort. Thank you.
What's up? You like that, huh? That intro. Yeah, that's Michael. He's awesome.
Yeah, he is.
So yeah, we've had a little bit of a hiatus, and we took a little bit of time. Oh, there's our friend Jack Kilowatt. Rise from your grave, man. You aren't kidding. We need to rise from the grave. I don't know if I forgot it. I hope I do. Oh, yeah.
Rise from your grave.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's Altered Beast. You guys, some of you guys might remember that in the old arcades back in the day.
Oh my God.
With the quarters.
Back in my day.
Maybe on your Commodore 64. Yeah, Altered Beast. I don't know. But good stuff. And we had a nice little break and a little hiatus. Tried to enjoy a little bit of summer.
Yes.
A little summertime stuff going on, which means we did absolutely nothing. We did a few things. We had some fun, but mostly we were just hanging out and just taking a little time off, recoup, think about some ways we can make the show better. And as promised, we're going to definitely be doing more pre-recorded episodes as well as our live show. So it'll be something different, and we'll premiere those as they're done. And that'll be like a format where there's some additional kind of video and maybe data presented, some narration and interviews with all the great people we're so blessed to be able to talk to.
Absolutely,
and,
yes.
Share them with you. And that should be fun, because that's kind of where we made our bones, was like doing podcasts, which was like this sort of thing of like, all right, we've recorded an interview and now what do we do? What are we going to talk about? And we had our own stuff that we wanted listeners to hear. It was a lot of fun, and a lot goes into it, and hopefully it goes a little smoother than it did back then, just a few short years ago.
Yes,
we'd spend 100,000 hours making an hour-long audio podcast. Got a little crazy, but got a new guitar, so there'll be some new music. I'll show that.
Yes, the Golden God.
gift from the golden gift from the gods.
Yes.
Right. This is Epiphone. It's only an Epiphone, but it's still cool. Sounds just like a Gibson SG. I love it.
Had fun going in there.
Price was right.
Yeah. Music shop.
Yeah, the music shop. We're going to go to the music shop right now. Let me just mosey on into the music shop. Do you have any recorders or harmonicas in your music shop? Do you have any cheese in this cheese shop? That's a Monty Python reference, which our guest knows very well. So let's get right to bringing him in. Pops is very nice. Thank you. Yeah, we missed you. Yes, Mr.
Yes.
Jack Kilowatt. Thought something might have happened. Nothing happened.
Well,
We just wanted a break.
yeah.
Sounds something.
Yes.
I wish we had this great like paranormal thing to come back with, like, we got this killer data.
Yeah.
We still got data we haven't listened to yet from before, and we have some good things planned, including going out with Mr. Bob Burnell.
Yes.
Do some investigating
Next month.
Yeah, so we're looking
James
forward to
House.
that. The James House in New Hampshire, here in New England, you New Englanders. But our guest, we were just on his wonderful show, All Out Paranormal, which you can find on Supernatural Inc.'s pages and Shaman Sundays pages as well, I believe, because that's all kind of intertwined.
Yes.
And one of the other mad scientists, Brandon Cooper, who was working on that behind the scenes, pushing the buttons and making us laugh the whole time.
And messaging
Brandon.
me at the same time, too.
Brandon. He's a hot shit. And
Yeah.
he is the author of Unexplainable Art in Black and White and now Unexplainable Art in Color. And we love this book.
Yes, we do.
And I do want to show you that, as well as this actual original pen and ink from Mr. Rex Nielson. I'm going to bring him right on. We're going to show you some pictures from this. And he was on a little while ago when we did some of that, if you missed it. But he's got a new book and new stuff to show us, as well as a really cool cow skull.
Yes.
Moo. Moo. Hello, Rex.
What an intro. You just maybe call it home from the Midwest.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's been
Cisco's
such a long time.
What's going on, Cisco? What's happening? Yeah, man.
You're very welcome, and thanks for coming on. We love
Thank you for doing
Yeah,
this with us
yeah.
tonight. These
Oh,
back shows.
absolutely.
We had a blast talking to you. And we got to delve into some topics we haven't talked about in a while, like the panpsychism and some of the other things we talked about. Things we talk about, but we haven't in a while. So it was good and felt fresh again. And what a trip. It was so fun to discuss with you. One of the things I wanted to recap was that on the muse, right? We were talking about the muse and on nature of inspiration. And as an artist, does it ever feel like something else is taken over?
To tell you the truth, yeah. I mean, there are times and I just, not even really wanting to draw or do anything. Then all of a sudden it's just like, man, get your butt over in your drawing table and you need to draw this. It's hard to explain. If the creative part of my brain takes over and says, get off your ass, stop watching TV, and create something. So, but yeah, it does. I don't know if I call it inspiration. I mean, I do get inspiration from certain things that come along, and I do draw, but it's unexplainable art. That's all,
It's unexplainable. Yeah. I like that title.
You do, yes.
I think that is sort of like something else does maybe work its way into your own creativity. And I think it's the same thing with athletes. They hit that zone.
Yeah.
There might be something spiritual that happens too. Whether it's all within oneself and one's psyche, I don't really know. But, like I mentioned on your show earlier, people like Tori Amos, Paul McCartney have often credited external beings to being the inspiration behind their art. And I think that's just fascinating.
Because the new book actually there's a picture that I specifically wanted for the very first picture, and it says beginning, And then there was a picture at the very end that I wanted, and it says the end. And I'll show them to you here in a little bit, and I'll tell you why I did what I did.
Okay.
And it's for what we were talking about at the beginning of my show. It's for my son. And
Yeah.
hey, Liz. Yeah, it was when all this transpired with his addiction coming through tenfold. I sat down, and the first picture that's in the book is what I sat down and I drew, and I knew it had to be a part of the book that I just put out. So it's
Yeah, and is that something you'd like to talk about?
Yeah. A lot of people that do know me, and a lot of people here I'm sure don't. I started all Out Paranormal in 2011 with my two boys, Christopher and Chaim. His name is Chaim, which is Hebrew for life.
I like that.
And but over the past few years, he is dealing with his addiction and his own demon. And in the last month, it took a really bad turn for the worse. He attacked me and put me in the hospital. Probably the darkest day in my life, by far. Because most people that know me, thank you. I just always wanted to be a dad, you know. And like we said before, if I wanted to be a millionaire, I could have strived to do it. You know, it's not like I didn't graduate with 3 BAs, you know, and could have gone on and done something. I didn't want to be famous. I just wanted to be a dad. And my worst nightmare came true here just 3 weeks ago. And I'll tell everybody right now, I have nightmares about it every single night.
I believe
every
you.
time I close my eyes, that's all I can see is the expression on his face and the hate. And I just thank God that he didn't have a weapon in his hands.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, as a father myself, I mean, I can relate, but not that hasn't happened. But there are things in it, just like they hit you harder than anything in the world. So what you're saying, I can understand how world crushing that must feel to you, you know, because so much of our world as dads is centered around being the dad. That is like the pinnacle of the day, you know. It's like I'm dad.
Yeah, and you know, I have two amazing boys, and even though what Chaim is going through, you know, I've already told him. I said, I've forgiven you. It's you know, it was your addiction that took over. It's a demon that you have to defeat. Right. You know, I'll always be there and support him, and I always have. I've been the one constant for him, and but it's taken kind of a side road now. It's not like this anymore. You know, it's gone in a little bit different direction
today.
Right. It's like you were talking about on your show, enablers. That's what most parents become until.
And I was.
You know, I was as well. So it's really hard for parents, you know, to split and just into a different direction and not be able, you know, you hurt. It hurts. You know, your heart, like 24/7.
Kristen really understands us. Absolutely.
Yes, I do.
I know from being with her that she does. And it is so hard. And I don't know.
It's hard.
You know,
you got to do it.
We're never given anything that we can't overcome.
Yeah.
And you know, this you know, too shall pass, and things will get better. I mean, if he sticks to his guns and he's gonna do out there, yes, I know he does love him. Yes, and I love him too, and he knows that.
That's a good comment.
Thank you very much, Jack. If he sticks to it and to the game plan that he plans on doing, you know, because the 30 days that he spent prior in the rehabs didn't work. And he's already talking about after his first 30 days, he's going into the second step, which is a minimum of 90 days. And then he'll go into sober living after that. And I hope he does. You know, he's incredibly talented. He's incredibly smart, and he's got a lot going. He's only 27 years old. You know, it's never too late to start anew.
Still, yep, that's true.
Yeah, he does have time for sure. You know, and some of these things take time. They just take a long time to work out. They really are like demons, and it brings out sides of our personality that just don't really seem to exist otherwise without the addiction, right? Which it makes you wonder, you know, spirits and addiction, and you know, the just kind of overview of the paranormal. Like, you know, people do say that, you know, that you're sort of opening in a portal when you're intoxicated on whatever it is, right? That you can become under the influence of more than just your own psyche. And that's very possible when you hear stories like that. It just seems so not probably what his behavior is like, I'm assuming, right? And it's just so not him to have that come out. Not that he doesn't have to change. Of course, he has to change it. But, you know, you have to close that door.
It's really hard to do.
Yes.
It's very hard.
Hey, Greg.
Oh, yeah. Mr. Greg Koss.
Hello, Greg.
Is in the house.
In the house.
In the house.
I will be on his show tomorrow night. Woohoo!
The Shadow Hour.
Yes.
That's right. We were just talking about you on Perfectly Normal Paranormal.
Yes.
Right here in the Dark Horse.
Oh, my Lord.
Page. Plug. Little shameless self-promotion there. And I guess Reggie is off tonight. He's off to go see Alice Cooper.
My goodness.
And that's pretty cool.
Oh, no doubt.
Have a good thing going if you haven't checked them out. There's Spirit Box Communications. Very cool show. Magnets. This gentleman, magnets for spirits. But let's wrap things back around to that art. We were talking about muses, and you got a new book, and we want to see the book. We want to see that cow skull.
Oh, we'll do that one first.
All right.
I was given this just the other day, and this is a cow skull, and this is what I have done to it.
Wow.
So you can see.
Wow, that's incredible.
There's a lot of detail going in there, as does your art. Like, it is amazing, the level of detail. And we were talking about when you work with dots, right? For like
pointillism,
and other effects that you're using a really minute pen, and you are putting down just thousands of dots.
Yeah,
you'll see they're all very clear. They're all very symmetrical, but there is an intense amount of markings.
And it's very, it's very relaxing for me. It's zen-like. I mean, because I know what kind of detail, instead of, just regular shading. Hot damn, that's amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Kim. But me using the pointillism, or thank you, Betty. Or they call it stippling now. I'm old school. I graduated college in 1988, and it was pointillism, and I'm still going to call it that today. So, but I can get so much more detail brought out of the picture than just regular shading by using the dots, and how I layer them in. And I think it's to me, it speaks a lot more, it's because it really comes from my soul, my heart, my soul. When I sit down and I do a picture, because I'll figure out I'll take an inch and basically figure out how many dots I have in an inch. And then I figured out on how big of the picture, I could have anywhere from 50,000 to 350,000 dots in a picture.
Cheapers.
That's amazing.
And
That is
there's drawings that I've got 50 plus hours in of
all that
just-
intent, all those intentions in creating this piece, like that. There has to be something. There's got to be some kind of energy transfer. I think from the pen to the paper, all links from here, from your mind.
And like the wonderful bios that are written by Letriana Brown and Marjorie Linnell. I do have the capability. I do have a digital drawing pad that I can hook up and use. And I may make some people mad, but I think it's cheating. It's way too easy to fix a mistake.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, say
tablet or something. It's not the same.
Yeah. See, I did a picture and the background is a desert, and I didn't like it. I can I can cut and paste and take that out and put a jungle scene behind it.
Right.
I mean, where's the creativity in that? So I put everything pen to paper.
I'm going to show a couple pictures from your last book, Unexplainable Art in Black and White. And I don't know if my camera has the resolution to really appreciate some of those dots, but I'm going to try. I don't know if you guys can see that, the level. I mean, you really have to look. The artwork, of course, is great, and I'm sure it looks great on camera. But when you really look at this, you'll see these just like thousands upon thousands of dots making up some of the stuff. Fascinating.
Even the new book, the color book, it's all in dots too, even though it's in color.
Right. No, we'll plug this again, but you just released the color book, and the best place to get this, because we were talking about this on your show, All Out Paranormal, on Supernatural Inc.'s channel a little while ago, is to actually email you. Now, I'll put it in the ticker, how people can get their autographed copy. Instead of getting off Amazon, it doesn't really pay anyone. As we all know, we've had many authors people on that. At this point now have said, I'm still waiting. Yeah. I'm still waiting. They tell me they sell Amazon, thousands of, they basically stole my book, we've had people say.
Exactly.
But they can email you at unexplainableart23@gmail.com, right, Rex? Yes. To get their own copy.
I've got copies of the first book. I just got 20 of them yesterday in the mail. So if anybody's looking for that, next week I should have the new book in hand. I haven't even held my new book. I mean, all I did was get the PDF file and approved everything and then sent it in. So I'm pretty stoked about it. It costs a bit more, but it was something that I had to do because it's funny. When I do my art, the black and white, I think, speaks volumes, just like an old black and white movie or sepia tone, movie, which I do. I've done pictures in sepia tone as well.
What is that? I don't want to scroll you from this, but
it's like the brown and white.
Yeah, it's like a brownish copperish type. Because if you watch the original Wizard of Oz, it's in sepia tone at the beginning where it's in black and white.
Yes, okay.
It's in sepia tone.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know. That's excellent.
I wanted to show that I can go way beyond that. And it's funny because when I did colors, they're going, "Wow, you put such brilliant colors in it for being a man." I'm going, "What the hell has my gender got to do with me putting colors in the picture?" But which I thought was funny.
All right, see how like our roles like sometimes pop into things, and we don't mean the paranormal roles, just as our regular roles, everyday roles,
everyday life roles. Yes,
can't have emotions.
Judge book by its cover or whatever,
and it's I tried to expand, just like doing the skull. I mean, I'd seen pictures of it and stuff, and everything happens for a reason. And my buddy gave me that skull, and I knew exactly what I was going to do as soon as he handed it to me.
Interesting.
I was going to go. I'm going to town on that one, and I did that. I started it yesterday and finished it today.
Well, that is fantastic.
Real quick, did you count how many hours that took you, the skull, to do? Was that
the skull? yesterday I put in probably about 16 hours in, and I probably put maybe close to 8 hours in the day off and on in between running and getting things done that I needed to get done, because I went and talked to the library, and I'm actually they're gonna let me do a book signing there.
Oh, it's awesome.
So
good for you. That's great.
In our little bitty town, we'll see how many people show up, but I know the response has been overwhelming. I mean, when the book first came out last week, it was number 5 out of 100 for new releases.
Oh,
Wow.
that's great.
And I was like, wow, are you kidding me? You know, because
that blew your mind.
I don't know. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I said it must have blew your mind. I mean, like,
it did. I mean, and my other book is still number 70 in the top 500. You know, and I released that back in March. And it's not like I sold 1 billion copies, because I haven't. But it seems so surreal, because this all came to fruition after I was in South Carolina, and I met Letriana Brown, and I did some illustrations for the 2 children's books that she's putting out. One's out now, and the other one will be out, I believe, in October. Mm-hmm. And I did all the illustrations for them. Well, she had showed, sorry,
it's okay.
Her publisher, and she goes, I want to publish a book of his art. And so I remember it so well. It was a Tuesday, and Letriana calls me, and she's telling me about this, and I didn't realize that Vicky, our publisher, was on the line as well. And she comes on and she goes, no, I've seen your work, and she goes, I really think we should put a book of your art out there. And like I told you on the last show, I'm like, who gives a shit? You know, people know I could draw, but I never, ever in my wildest dreams ever thought of putting a book together of just stuff that I create, you know?
Sure.
On that note, we had a good question out here from
yes.
Jack Kilowatt. Let's see here. Rex, having worked with pointillism for so many years and having tattoos, have you considered being a tattoo artist? Have you done any tattoos?
And the only reason is I all the tattoos that I have, I've designed every single one that I have. But if I gave somebody a bad tattoo, because of the way I am and the way I was raised, I could never forgive myself, because it's not like I can erase that line and start all over again.
That's so
They've
true.
got to wear that crappy thing that I've hacked on their arm or their leg or whatever.
Right.
That's why.
It's a lot of weight to carry in a way.
It is.
That's a medium.
Yeah.
Skin as a medium. It's just like, wow.
Here
you go.
I'll draw.
Have this.
I've drawn hundreds of tattoos for people, but as far as I've never wanted to pick up
putting it in the needle in the
tattoo
skin.
gun, and no.
What's up, Kim?
No.
Kim Horn is
Yay,
back.
She's back.
Horn.
Rock on.
And
I'm still
Kim
looking for
and Scott and Mary Lynn, who's out in our audience as well. Well, I'll be joining you at the Deadwood.
Yes.
Yes, I cannot wait. I am so honored to be a part of that. Again, this all stems from just meeting all these incredible people, and like I finally said, I found my tribe.
Right.
You know, with all these incredible people, and man, it just words escape me, and which is hard because you know. I Nielson, my mom used to say, yeah, the Nielsons have the gift of gab or diarrhea of the mouth. So,
one and the same. It's all about perspective.
That's it.
And I've never met a stranger. I can talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And I think that's what got me through, 31 years of law enforcement, is the way I handle myself and the way I came across,
Yeah. Well, your height probably didn't hurt either. For
No.
those that haven't met Rex in real life, you're a very tall person. You're a little intimidating.
Yes.
It's a big dude.
Yeah,
I noticed that because you've got a Bigfoot type shirt on. I think it says "Gone Squatching."
Yes.
I have to wonder, when you go footing, do the Bigfoot run from you?
I've been ostracized because I'm bald. I used to be part of the Bigfoot tribe, so they run from me because they're embarrassed. My wife actually calls me her hairless Bigfoot. So,
well,
but being 6'7" and around 300 pounds and a size 16 foot, I mean,
wow.
And there's nobody on my side of the family that's as big as me.
That's
nobody.
That's cool.
So
you like to say a fig bootin'.
Fig boot.
We needed
I love that. I cannot wait to come stay with you guys.
Oh, yes.
God, that's going to be so much fun. Right quick, I'll show you. This is the picture that I wanted at the beginning of the new book.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh, that's really wild. That's cool.
And this is what happened when I knew he had started drinking again. And I mean, he walked around at a 4 or higher all the time. He was going to work and driving.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's up there.
He was a high functioning alcoholic, but then he just turned into this unrecognizable individual. And I drew that as me going, you're growing, you're going to get past this, you're going to grow, and you're going to reach up and you're going to grab the world or whatever and make it your own, is why I drew that. And that's why I wanted it in the beginning of the book where it just says beginning. And then at the end of the book, just another metaphor that I just drew it, just thinking about pain. And it's, the werewolf eating the moon to get rid of his demons, because the moon changes him into a beast. So
wow.
I did this as the werewolf taking back his life by eating the moon. So, that's why this was the last picture in the book, and it says that just says end. I didn't. It doesn't say the end. It just says end. So, and I don't think he even knows that.
I like the symbiology with that. That is beautiful and very heartfelt, Rex. I mean, it's a lot you're going through.
And I'm, and this, I've got a great support group. I mean, I've got you guys and everybody else that I met just in the last couple of months. I mean, it's just been overwhelming, and I'm blessed. I can't even say enough for the supports and the thoughts and the prayers and everything that have come down. And it's hard for me to accept, because I'm always that person doing it for everybody else.
Right.
Because I was raised on knowing what empathy was and putting other people first. And it's been hard for me, but I'm accepting it now. And I have to realize that I have to. I can't just sit there and I'm not Superman. I can't handle it all alone. There's just no way.
Greg wants a little clarification on the fig bootin'.
You have to ask Kimberly about that. Or corn poop. Don't feed the wolf corn pops after teasing, right? Oh my God, that's great. Oh my gosh, that's too funny.
Or a corn pop, don't feed the wolf corn pops after midnight.
Yeah.
Kim says, and I
It's
think
like it's like
you
you know,
guys
don't feed the mugwai after midnight
yeah,
Exactly.
put the water away.
because you know what's going to happen.
That's Maryland.
There's one picture in the first book that I got to get to it here. I'm pretty sure it's in here. I before my son went to his a year ago, before he left for South Carolina for rehab, he was holding my mother's hand. My mother was dying, and I took a picture of him holding my mother's hand, and I drew it, and it's got to be probably the most powerful and wonderful pictures that I've ever drawn. And as soon as it focuses, and it is all in dots. And the big thumb, the big hand is obviously my son's, and you can see his suicide scars on his arm. And she ended up passing away 2 days before he got to come home. I thought that would make a difference and turn things around, but it really didn't. But anyway, that's
big
I think
challenge.
that was the first time I'd ever just did a certain body part, but it was such a beautiful picture that I took.
It is.
And I ended up taking a picture of me holding my mom's hand, and then my oldest son, Christopher, holding my mom's hand.
Good name.
Those I will do at some point. But right now, it took me, that was an emotional roller coaster doing this one.
I can't imagine. I was going to ask about how you felt.
It was therapeutic, but at the same time, I'm drawing the picture of my mother's dead hand, basically, you know.
Yeah.
We were extremely close, my mother and I. And it was tough with her dying of dementia and Alzheimer's, to where she didn't even know who I was. You know, and I'm her only son. And we'd come as a family, and she'd go, "Well, who is that?" And my sister and my aunts and stuff would say, "Well, that's your son Rex." She goes, "I don't have a son Rex. I have a brother Rex," which she does, my Uncle Rex. But there was for a while there that I just wouldn't go anymore. I mean, she had no clue who I was. And no matter what I said or anything, it
Her
didn't.
spirit knows. You know,
Yeah.
her
But then all of a sudden,
I believe that.
she came back, and I would go see her all the time. And we'd sit outside, and I'd drive the new motorcycle right up on the patio of the nursing home, and we'd sit out there, and they'd bring us lunch and everything out there. And there's some days I'd spend, 5 and 6 hours, which was nice at the end that she didn't forget who I was. She knew who I was until, because I the night she passed away, it was about 4 hours later. She was just a shell of a human being. I mean, it didn't even look like a real person.
Yeah.
And I kissed her, and I told her I loved her, and she could barely utter anything. And I got real close, and I heard her say, "I love you too." And then
let me ask you this: Do you think driving force for a lot of people that are involved in the paranormal is proof of an afterlife for things like this that happen in their lives where they lose somebody close? I think that's true of us, and you want to know, like, it is definitely a driving factor.
Yes, it's like when I lost my father, I'll give you the Reader's Digest version of this. My father and I were not close. I'm not saying that, you know, he was mean or anything. He was a wonderful dad, wonderful. But his dad died when he was very young, so he was the best dad that he knew how to be, because he didn't have a male figure in his life. He had to quit school in the 8th grade to run the farm. And I have 3 college degrees, and my dad could build the space shuttle in the backyard out of bird feces, duct tape, you know, whatever. The man could make anything and fix anything.
Yeah.
The only thing my dad ever let me do was hold a flashlight. He would not let me turn a wrench, use a power tool, or anything. And now my sister, on the other hand, he'd have put a chainsaw in her hand at the age of 2. You know?
Yep.
And but I was never, you know, we were close. He was my Superman, because when he was 16, he had his right arm and right leg caught in an auger, and it actually rolled it up to here, broke all the bones in it. Same thing with his leg, and it took the kneecap off.
Oh my God.
This was the age of 16. In 1976, he was in an explosion that blew him 50 feet straight up in the air, landed on his feet, and burned 3rd-degree burns over 1/3 of his body.
Wow.
Never stopped him. He kept going. He then, wasn't my first year in law enforcement, he got cancer. He beat that. And then he was supposed to be retired, and he was out. We have some cousins, Beaton Bender Manufacturing. They make big sheet metal shears. And he would go out, because they sold them all around the country, and Dad would go out and fix the machines. Well, he was out in Colorado fixing a machine, and he was supposed to go see my uncle, my aunt and uncle, my mom's youngest brother. Nobody could find him. He was gone. We couldn't find him. And I just gotten back to work. I'd been off work for 3 months because I'd broken my ankle. And this is my first day back to work, and I get home, and I'm being asked, have you heard from your dad? He said, no, not since yesterday. Well, nobody can find him. I'm going, what do you mean nobody can find him? I said, where was he last known? So
Right.
I said, start calling sheriff's departments, start calling hospitals around that area. You know, that's what you need to do. And finally tracked him down. And he was in intensive care in Colorado. And I loaded up my sister, my mother, my 4-year-old niece, and my oldest son, and drove 1,000 miles straight there. And we got there. He was coherent when we got there, and he was still in ICU. They said we were going to move him back to a regular room. So we went and got a hotel room, and about 3 hours later, we were woke up saying that he took a turn for the worse, was in ICU, and was in a coma. So I spent every dime I had saved and every hour I had on the books, and we stayed for a month while my dad was in a coma in intensive care. Come to find out, he had a complete whiteout. His left lung had so much pneumonia in it that you couldn't see through it. It was white. It was a whiteout.
Wow.
So his behavior and stuff was because he wasn't getting enough oxygen. And it was the worst case he had ever seen. Well, after a month, you know, my sister and I had to get back to work. We had exhausted everything that we had. And it was my mom's youngest brother, the one that my dad was going to go stay with, came and stayed with my mom. She stayed there with him, of course. And when Dad was well enough, my Uncle Alan drove them all back here to Iowa. My dad got back, he acted differently towards me. It was kind of strange. But the strangest thing was, every Friday night I had my family over for supper, and I cooked for everybody. And but at this time it was a Saturday that I was going to cook for everybody. And he had stopped. All of a sudden he shows up at my house on a Friday afternoon, and he had been out tool shopping. Like my dad needed more tools, like, I need to be another foot taller. And he was talking and just carrying on and asking about what I was going to make. And I told him I was making Mexicans. And he goes, well, what time do you want us to show up tomorrow? I said, Dad, you can be here for breakfast. I said, if you want to be here at 5 o'clock in the morning, you know damn well I'm going to be awake. Come and I'll make you breakfast. You can come anytime you want. So my father gets up and he goes to the door and he turns around and he looks at me and he goes, I will see you tomorrow. I love you. My father did not say, I love you.
Yeah.
Ever. If you said, Dad, I told you I loved you, are you going to say anything? Well, I do. That's what he would say. Now, he would tell my kids all the time that he loved them, but he never spoke that outward.
Sure. It goes back to the rules we were talking about earlier, the kind of gender.
And he went home, and 5 hours later, I got a phone call saying that my father was dead.
Good Lord.
And all the stuff that my father had been through, I never thought he would just lay down and peaceably just leave this earth. And but it's it sounds like a movie, because the last thing that he ever spoke to me was, I love you. And I'd never heard him ever speak that out loud to me ever before.
It's hard for some people to say, even people that really.
And I understood that. I mean, I knew he loved me.
You get it.
Even though, I was 3 times the size this man was. And if I can find the picture, I'll show you me standing there the day I was sworn in as an officer, standing next to my father. He used to tell everybody that I got my height from him. My dad was not a very big man. Or as my mother would say, what happened to your son? Well, he was shit out on a fence post. That's what she would tell people. And I went with it. I thought it was funny. Didn't hurt my feelings.
So a lot of emotions. You do art, and some of these emotions has to carry through. I know last time you were on our show, you mentioned, I think Kristen asked you if you kept any kind of like secret things in your art, like you put things in that weren't obvious,
like Easter eggs,
kind of like an Easter
gems, but
and you said, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that it comes out that way, or is that something that completely different? Sometimes
I on purpose will do it, and then sometimes I'll get done with a picture and go, oh, look what I did right there. Not even knowingly put something in there, and which it's really cool, because once I get done with a picture, I'm like, it's like looking for the Playboy bunny on the front of the Playboy magazine, because they always had it somewhere.
Did they?
Yeah. Yeah, it was always on the cover somewhere.
I was more of a hustler guy.
Yeah.
Okay. We went there.
I was gonna run with that, but I'll be good.
No, feel free, man.
So it's and it's funny because like I said, sometimes I don't even think about it, and all of a sudden I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. I wonder if anybody else will notice it, because I never tell anybody. I want them to find out for themselves. I don't want it's like giving away the ending of a movie or a book. Oh, sure. By the way, this is Dealing with Butler did it. Oh, you.
Yeah, no. I think that's the fun of like getting a book or books like yours, is to look for those kind of Easter eggs and see that and try to see within the artist's mind, which makes this really like an interesting interview, because we're seeing probably a side of you that doesn't always come out, and we're seeing this kind of emotional side, this deep thoughts. Not that you don't have deep thoughts, but
deep thoughts by Jack Andy.
Deep thoughts. Kind of side of you that maybe isn't always expressed, and clearly it's in the work, and that's brilliant, man. That's wonderful.
And I try, the more I do my work and the more it comes out, I really want it to speak to people, not only on the artistic level of it, because I keep improving on my stuff. Because the stuff when I started, because I quit for 30 plus years, my kids didn't even know I could draw. And I quit because I just lost faith in the ability. And then about 2016, I hate to use the phrase, but it was like an epiphany. I was like, man, I need to start drawing again.
Mm-hmm.
And I dove into it head first. But the stuff that I have from 2016 till what I'm putting out now is like preschool trying to go up against a Da Vinci. I mean, I would not show you some of the stuff from 2016. I mean, back in 2016, I thought it was amazing, and so did other people, but it's nothing compared to what
how you judge yourself and how you see your work.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
as it comes to fruition, Greg says Chris and I are lifelong members of the Larry Flint fan club. Yes.
Oh, Kimberly
Yeah,
Horn.
absolutely.
Thank you for the 200 stars. I had to make sure I said that out loud.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Oh,
Can't see them come up on the comments.
They don't show up in the StreamYard, so
Yes.
I missed them completely.
So I
But thank you.
I didn't. Thank you again.
bear with me here. I'm trying to find the picture of my the day I was sworn in as an officer, and the picture I was taking with my father.
Yes.
I know.
You know, when you got almost 8,000 pictures on your phone. Oh, while I'm here, that is the picture that I took of Chain holding my mother's hand.
Oh
Oh
wow.
goodness. Wow.
And
That's powerful in itself.
It certainly is. That's quite a
showing,
good picture.
that's what my mom was reduced to.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry. That's
Me too, because
we understand.
we both understand.
I've
it's
lost
such
both my parents. One when I was 20. You know, that's disease can be really devastating. Really leave an impact.
You know, and people go, do you think about your mom and dad? And no, I don't. They're gone. You know, I rarely do I think about them. I mean, people are like, oh my God, how can you not? They're gone. I know they're gone. I can't bring them back. You know, I'll see them again someday.
You will.
Yeah.
Maybe sooner than you think. I don't mean that in a bad way. Just the nature of the business we're in.
Right.
I feel like I've had visitations from parents, and
that's what I was just going to ask you. Do you think have you gotten any data that they're around you?
Yes. Do you want to hear one of the most incredible stories ever? It was probably 5-6 years ago, because I lost Dad in 2012, the year after we started All Out Paranormal, and he was our biggest fan.
No.
He really was. And we put an autographed picture in his casket telling him that we were going to make it big someday. And he was our biggest supporter and biggest fan. I was lying in bed one night and my phone rang, and I picked it up, and it's a picture of John Wayne and my dad's phone number. I'm wide awake, and I'm looking at it going, my dad's phone has been disconnected, but I still have it in my phone. I answered it, and it was this white noise. You know, you knew it wasn't, here.
Mm-hmm.
You knew it was some sort of supernatural. And all I heard was Christopher Ring, chain watch, I love you. And it was my father's voice. And the phone went silent. and this is a week before Christmas, and I couldn't. I never went to sleep at all that night. I just sat there and held the phone and looked at it, thinking, what was this?
How is it possible?
Yeah. And what it was is when I lived out on the East Coast, I went to the Diamond District and I bought my dad a Rolex. I was given the Rolex when Dad passed away. Chain always wanted that watch. And that's what Dad told me on that phone call, Chain watch.
Oh, okay.
And my son, my dad had these turquoise rings, big, beautiful turquoise rings from when we lived out in Oregon. And Chris loved those rings. And that was the first thing he said to me, Chris rings, chain, watch. And that's what they ended up getting for Christmas that year. Nothing like that has happened since.
But he let you know.
Yeah.
He's there. Yeah. And that's an unusual, like really good one story about that. But I think a lot of people have some kind of experience when they lose a loved one like that, the parents. And
Anne-Marie Young, her mother.
Yeah. Yeah. It seemed like when my own father was passing last year, it just seemed like there were spirits here. There were things before he actually passed and after that were just so relatable, like letting me know. And I think a lot of people experience this, but I love that story. And I think it's so interesting. And one of the things, again, like what started this conversation, like, is that a driving factor for the paranormal for you? I think it is for a lot of people. They miss people. They know there's something there. They can't put their finger on it. There's clues. There's things right in front of their face sometimes, and they don't see it, or they refuse to see it. Belief system needs to change a little bit depending how you were brought up. That's fantastic. What a message.
And it was because, and like I said, I don't think about it, and to be sitting there and my phone is ringing and it's his ringtone and it's got John Wayne.
Wow.
And I'm like, I wanted to start punching myself in the face or hit myself with a lamp or something. Am I really awake? Or am I asleep? And it took me a minute because I really wasn't going to answer it, to tell you the truth. I didn't know what to expect because,
your brain couldn't process it. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, how do you process something like that? What do I do? Yeah. They're obviously not here. And what do I do? It's creepy as well.
Be overwhelming.
Yes.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it just, and like I said, I just sat there in bed the rest of the night, just holding the phone and looking at it and going, and playing it over in my head over and over again. Did this really happen?
Yeah.
Did I just actually speak to my father?
Mm-hmm.
It's disbelief. Yeah.
You did. And, that's the thing where we mentioned parapsychology and a point of view of a lot of poltergeist and other phenomena from that group section of the paranormal is oftentimes that it's mental projections. But when you hear that, I don't think so. I think it's the real thing.
Yeah.
It's the real thing. I certainly like to believe it, and we've had our own experiences that way. That really mean a lot. They're very meaningful.
Yeah, and there's no way for me to explain it away. There's no way for me to debunk it. Mm-hmm. And everybody that knows me, I sleep between, maybe 2 to 4 hours a night, and I was not asleep. I was wide awake when it was, because actually I was reading a book when the phone rang. And when your phone rings at 2 o'clock in the morning, the first thing you think is, "Oh my God, who's dead?"
Yep.
Or what has happened. And it was even tenfold when I pick it up and it's, "Dad, you've got to be kidding me," And it took quite a while before but it kept ringing and kept ringing and kept ringing and kept ringing and kept ringing.
Wow.
Wow.
And I figured, well, it's not going to stop till I do answer it. So I'm so glad I did, and didn't ignore it, shut the phone off, because I thought that at one point too. Going, somebody's screwing with you.
Right.
This isn't funny. Don't answer it. But something else was telling me, yeah, that I needed to. And I have hair here. This is the picture of my father and I the day I was sworn in officer.
Oh, yes.
Oh, let's have a look. Oh, yeah.
Handsome dudes.
And I'm quite a bit bigger than my father.
I see that. I see that.
And
Wow.
He
looks proud.
It does.
Yeah, and I got my sense of humor from him. He was funny, but he didn't like it when I would pull shit. He'd get mad. One instance, my mother and father moved to Indianola, which is where John Wayne was born, here in Iowa. And my sister moved back from South Carolina and was living in their house. Every Monday night, it was over there for Monday Night Raw, and
Raw dog.
Yep. So we watched wrestling every Monday night. Well, I got off work before she did. She worked in Cedar Rapids. Hell, my work was 3 blocks away. The sheriff's department was. So, and my mom and dad's house, there was a back staircase, which was a servant staircase. So my sister drove her vehicle into the garage, and the floor gave way, and underneath it was an old cistern. And I had a friend who had a real skeleton.
Oh, yeah.
I got it from her, and I put it
did you want to sell it?
I had to give it back. I wish I still had it, but
Okay.
I had to give it back. I made it look like it was crawling out of this hole.
Oh my.
This cistern. I told her it was a crypt. I could get my sister to believe it. And I had a camera set up. I knew that she wasn't going to pull into the garage because of what had happened. Well, she had 2 dogs, and I knew the first thing she was going to do was walk through the kitchen, go out to the garage, and let him out through the garage to go to the bathroom. And so I'm sitting in the back staircase, the servant staircase, and I got the accordion door shut, and I can hear her come home. Oh, there's my baby dogs. You guys got to go outside. Ah. And I'm sitting on the back step with all the cats, and I am dying because I am trying not to laugh out loud. It is absolutely killing me. And what am I allowed to say on the show without getting in trouble?
Anything you like.
Fine.
Okay. She goes over, and I could hear her open up the door, and she pushes the screen door open. I hear, "Oh, you fucker!" And it's all on camera too. I had the camera rolling.
Funny.
And so I hear her slam the door, and I hear her tromping, and I hear her grab the cordless phone, and she's tromping over to the living room. I'm right behind her, and she doesn't know I'm there. And she's just dialing the phone, going, "You bastard!" And she goes to put the phone up to her ear, and I said, "Are you trying to get a hold of me?" She goes, "Ah!" And she throws the phone across the room, and it hits the television. My dad didn't think it was funny.
That wasn't very
I
much.
did, and I still have the video somewhere.
You need to break that out. That's wicked funny.
That's awesome.
I do.
Mm.
Oh, anyways.
No, this is good stuff. This is great stuff.
Absolutely.
You know, I think-
I'm surprised I made it through life with some of the shit that I pulled.
I think we're all a little surprised at this age. I know I am.
Yeah.
Look at
I
America.
am.
Oh, no, I still have a face. That's good.
All right.
I lose that yesterday.
Man, No, I'm having a bald. I'm having a bald
I
moment.
know what we wanted to talk about. One thing was the cow skull. Circling back, I don't think we told people how they can get the cow skull.
Yes.
Mm.
If it starts mooing, the price goes up.
Hell yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
That's it. Put a mic up to it. Recorder.
I am doing an auction for it. There is a reserve of 150 for it, and I know some people are going, oh, look it up online, and you'll see what they're asking for this. And this is a real skull. It's not a resin. It's a real skull, and
that's just the cost of the skull, cleaned and everything, right? I mean,
yes.
I wonder what the whole heifer costs. Holy crap!
If you look up
Need
skulls,
a second mortgage
though, they're so
buy a cow.
Well, yeah,
It's just ridiculous what they're asking for an animal skull, because I'd like to do a bear one for Brandon, and other animals. I'd love to do a bull, so I can decorate the horns, because I actually thought about using my Dremel and actually doing that detail with a Dremel into the skull instead of drawing it by hand. Right. And which I see that people have done. It's not like it's my idea, but I seen it done. I'm going, man, I know damn well I could do that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Very time consuming. It is.
All on camera. You got to share it, Rex. If I find it, I'll bring it with you, Kimberly. I swear to God, it's somewhere.
Kim said she gave Brandon her bear skull when he was there.
Yes,
Brandon's got a bear.
Yep, and I don't know if he'd let me draw on it or not. I'd do him proud if he'd let me do it. That'd be really cool. I forgot that.
Sundays, are you out there? If you are, you're listening. That was an opportunity.
I've got no messages yet back, so.
But if anybody wants to bid on it, I'm going to let this go until next Thursday's show.
Okay.
Just put in a bid at my unexplainable art 23@gmail.com. And I'm serious about it. Don't put on there, oh, I'll give you $1 million.
Yeah.
This is
inlay work, Bob says.
Yes. It was something that I always wanted to try. I think it turned out pretty damn cool. Because nobody buys it. I'm going to keep it.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to get this for $20. It's not a cow skull on the side of the road.
Well, like you were saying on your show when we were talking about it, look.
Linda Moulton Howe.
Lisa Face Cow. That's how we remember her name.
It would be worth more.
But yeah, that's great. If you look up skulls, I don't even know if that's what I was going to say. If you look up skulls and see how much they are, I know it's the second time I'm saying it, but they really, really are wicked expensive. And especially yours isn't good. Yours is like beautiful. You did work on it. You signed it.
Of course.
Did you sign it too? So,
So it's going to be like in an auction style, right? So you're going to.
Yes. Yep. So
takes all. You're not losing the 150 if you bid.
Yeah, there's a reserve. If I get 150, which I'm hoping to get more, I'll break even on with the time and everything. Because I even bleached it again. I made sure it took 2 days to dry out. Because I thoroughly bleached it, cleaned it, made sure every nook and cranny had, there was no dirt in it or anything like that. And then it took 2 days for it to dry back out. And
right. Brush the teeth.
Yes, I did, and let me tell you, holding that thing, man, that was the most uncomfortable thing I ever had to hold on to and draw with. I should have put a long sleeve shirt on if I owned a long sleeve shirt, and I don't because I hate long sleeves. But it was it's so weird with the three-dimensional piece that I'm, holding in such awkward positions to try to get the way I do my work on a piece of paper try to transfer it over on something three-dimensional. I mean, it's not perfect, but it did. I think it translated well, a lot better than I thought it was going to, and it was fun.
I bet. Yeah.
It looks awesome. Can we have another look at it?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to, once you have a link for it, we'll be putting that up on our pages.
Yes.
And, we know our friends are going to share it as well. Yeah,
So,
it's a real.
I started out.
I think people forget how much cows are like dinosaurs. Look at the size of that thing.
Kim has something to say right now. I saw. Just want to let you know. And I know you hate.
I started out with the crosshatch work here, and you can't see it, but the lace work here, each where it crosses is actually a silver dot.
Oh wow! I know with your work, like the detail is too much for our cameras really to pick up.
Yes.
Like when you look at it with your actual eyes and not on camera, especially if you're watching this on your phone or something silly, like, you know, there's all kinds of detail and dots and lines.
And it was fun. I mean, it went better than I originally thought it was going to. But, you know, these teeth are, you know, when I'm holding it like this across my forearm, I was like, that really hurts after a while.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
But there's pain in my art, so I wanted to get it done, because once I started it, I didn't want to stop. I wanted to finish the piece, and let's know that.
He says, I'll probably commission you to do one when we get ahead, Rex. That would be such an amazing thing for me to possibly buy and donate to the Sacred Mountain Retreat Center to auction off their fundraising gala in February.
Yeah.
Kimberly, you don't have to pay me to do it. If it's going for something like this, I'll do it. You don't need to pay me for that. No, that's
another question out here from our friend Mr. Jack Kilowatt. He asks, Rex, random question: would you consider illustrating a chapbook of poetry? I'm assuming that's written by you, Jack.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very good. Very good. I'll have to put you two in touch. Bob says, Rex, message me a couple of pics with your info, please. Right, to share. So we can share that. The real deal. And yeah, same here. We definitely want to put it up for you. And
I'll just send it. I'll just send it to you on Messenger. Will that work?
Great. Yeah, and I'll pass it along. That's fine. No worries, my friend. This has been pretty freaking cool, no? I love it. Now, I don't know if you got the Linda Moulton Howe reference I made earlier about the laser-faced cows. Linda Moulton Howe, best journalist to write about cattle mutilations first, back in like the 1980s. 70s. Yeah, she's been doing it a long time and deserves all the credit that she can get with that. The cattle mutilations. We heard recently of human mutilation stories coming out of Peru. I don't know if you've heard any of that, Rex.
Where did I just the other day, and I was like, what?
It's recent. Yeah, it's a recent thing.
That's what I did. I'm scrolling through YouTube and I'm like, I keep seeing it. I'm like, it's clickbait, but then I see like a whole bunch of other ones, and I'm like,
well, some data there.
Yeah, they're not on like regular TV yet. So I'm like, it's got to be something. But I ended up clicking on it. We were watching it, and it's pretty weird. And they're called, what do they pay? The face peelers.
The face peelers. Yeah. One of the gentlemen we were watching on the YouTubes did have a name, and it was in the indigenous culture, and it was something like that. It was like Pele Kala, something like that. Yeah, I was trying to remember it for the show, and of course I forgot. But it means face peeler in their language, and there was a girl, and our face was like sort of peeled, and there were some other stories about people like losing their whole face. There's a video out there that really almost doesn't look real, but it might be of a person with their entire face peeled off. They were dumped off by a river, not in the river, and only the face is gone, and it's all their skull. You can see inside their eye cavities, the whole nine. I think somebody took it on their cell on the down low, and it got out to the interweb somehow. But quite a few stories coming out of that same region, that part of Peru, apparently. They're describing him as being about 7 feet tall. Rex, 7 feet tall.
I haven't been in Peru lately.
All right, just making sure. Now, their heads are supposed to be larger than human heads. They have the almond-shaped eyes. Silver suits, was it?
Yeah,
Some
it
of
was
them saying.
silver skin.
Wow.
Talking about
And-
shoes, possibly, or boots that have, or maybe just their feet, having some sort of propulsion system that
And they're red
elevates them about a
lights.
meter off the ground.
Yeah, underneath on the sole.
Red lights.
Wow.
One, it does in a couple of reports, because now it's catching on in the U.S. and everywhere. It's international now. It kind of looks like a mantis. The guy's got a flashlight, and I had thought of that as well. I can't see what Chris sees. I see like a mantis type being. It's weird. And he sees like just a regular, like gray.
Yeah. So the
but
video's
it's a
a little odd. You know, it depends
Pelecaras.
on the one.
That's it.
Pelecara?
Cara. Yes.
Cara, I
Face
forget.
peelers.
Face
I don't know what
peelers.
to think about all that.
Yeah, pretty interesting stuff. So look for maybe more news to come out of that Peruvian area.
Yeah,
Really
I'm
interesting.
definitely gonna check that out. That's just like
a lot
wow.
of the videos are in Spanish as they're coming out of Spanish speaking country, obviously, South America.
Yeah.
But you can make it out, you know, and some people are compiling videos about them.
And that video with the was he on the beach, like on the shore of
Yeah. And I heard like maybe a year ago from an Australian reporter. I was watching a video and he was talking about South America having these sort of human, quote unquote, human mutilations, like the cattle mutilations we've all heard of, going on in different parts of South America. People being elevated like it supposedly happened with the cows, so they drop them from a very high height and their body just smashes on the ground. No real explanation as to how the cow got that way. Scary stuff.
aliens.
There's aliens in there.
I'm sending you a little 11-second video that my security camera caught, and it was enough. I just sent it on Messenger to you. I don't know if you can bring it up so people can see it or not, but I seriously think it's a UFO, because it is not the shadow of a plane or a bird. It moves very quickly, then it stops and hovers, the shadow does, over the garage of my neighbor, and then goes east. My camera picks it up, and there's no way, because if it was an airplane, it would move about this fast. You'd see the shadow. Sing a little bit faster with a bird. This just blew my mind when this, because it notifies me when my cameras are activated.
Mm-hmm. The motion sensor.
All right.
And you'll watch it come across, and it'll hover on top of the garage. See
oh
it?
yeah, looks like a
And then it
thunderbird.
hovers.
That's what I said. A
And then it goes
thunderbird.
the other way. It's
Good
not
Lord.
a bird. It isn't a plane. And how quickly it moves and stops and sits on the top of that garage, then moves to the east.
That's a really.
It's large. There was a huge shadow in that tree structure next to the garage.
Look at that. There's.
Yeah, and it's weird in the way that it goes.
It moves way too quick to be.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
It's
And
not a.
this is the first, everybody. I haven't shown this to anybody else.
Wow.
Thank you.
Oh, cool.
We're
Thank
honored.
you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Yeah, it's because it notified me, and I'm going, okay. And then I seen that shadow. I'm going, what in the hell?
Wow.
Because it moves way too fast. It's too big. And it isn't sporadic either. I mean, and then it covers the tree line and the whole top of that garage, and then it just goes off to the east. I wish the camera would have been pointing up a little bit higher, but still, I slowed it down even. And it isn't the shape of a bird. It isn't shape of a plane. It's very, I just thought, wow, that was so cool.
That's
It
very
was
cool.
wicked
It was
cool.
just out of the blue.
Just speaking of aliens, that was perfect. Nice segue, my friend. That was beautiful.
Yes.
I like that. And here's another picture of the skull. And we'll be putting these up. Let's see here. I think I got to hit share screen. I do. There's always one more button, StreamYard Y. And you can have a chance to win this wonderful cow skull. Not a mutilated cow. Not signed by Linda Howe.
Investigated.
We're investigated by her.
Because I have no idea how soon I'll ever
Come
come
across.
across it and get another skull.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that is amazing. So,
And I think Kimberly asked how much time it took. About close to 24 hours is what it took me to do it.
and she says the speed of it, meaning the shadow that you caught there, makes a scratch her head.
It moves way, way too quick.
Looks like flapping wings prior to the garage,
I
right?
was
Like a
thinking-
gargoyle, like we were talking about.
Yeah, that's what I thought of
on your
after
show,
the
Rex.
Thunderbird. Yes. The gargoyle.
Take that out of there. And just to revisit that, you can check out our interview with Rex. Was on earlier tonight. If you joined us a little later, all Out Paranormal.
Yeah,
Sorry,
discover the paranormal with All Out Paranormal.
exactly.
Awesome.
And you can find that on Supernatural Inc. It's Facebook.
Yeah,
and-
actually, it will be rebroadcast at midnight tonight.
is that right?
Awesome.
Yeah, we've been doing that. Brandon has been rebroadcasting it midnight. It'd be Eastern time, so I'm pretty sure that's what he's been going by. But yeah, we've been rebroadcasting them because because it's such an early time. And I kept it at that time because there's so much, I'm also editing for other shows. I'm doing intros for other shows. We're producing shows. So I just kept it at the time it was, and it works out. And it doesn't take up too much time from Joy when she's working. The show's over by 7:30, and she usually gets home about that time. So
that works nicely. Looks like Kim's got to catch some
Yes.
Z's. Thank you for joining us, Kim.
thank you,
Well,
Kim.
We appreciate it. And we appreciate all of you guys that joined us tonight. And thank you for the big welcome back. And, it's good to be back.
Yes.
And, we want to thank you, Rex, for making this happen with us and doing it with
Well,
back
thank you.
shows, which is
This has
very
been
cool.
A blast. I mean,
It's our friend
anytime
Becky.
you want me, just
Becky.
I'll fill in anytime you want.
Excellent. No, we'd love to have you on. We love talking to you. It's been a great interview. And Becky, how you doing? We met Becky at in South Carolina when we met Rex.
Yep.
Same place.
Yep. She's a sweetheart.
She
She's a
is.
sweetheart.
She is. Absolutely.
Real quick, I wanted to tell Jack Kilowatt a story. So I gave Chris, we watched the Y-Files. Jack Kilowatt does too. I don't know if anybody else in the audience does, but I got Chris Fear the Crab Cat shirt.
Right.
And I took a picture of him in it. And if you, after the Y-Files, they have like Patreon, thank you to everybody for the support. And they have pictures of people with hecklefish and, shirts and cups and everything. And Chris is in it. And I have a picture. I have
I'm
two
in the
pictures.
scrolling
He's
mass
in-
of people.
Yes,
that
his
do this.
picture is actually,
Yeah,
this
they'll
is a
see me.
big to do, this document, the Y-Files. So
It's a very big show.
That's
Very
awesome.
well done show.
it is. AJ's awesome, but
Great host, wonderful production team. I think there's
Yeah.
only 4 people on that production team, and
his
they
wife
are just
is-
kicking ass.
works at Disney, so
She
that's
does
why she does
CGI. The
CGI.
co-host is an animated goldfish named Hecklefish, hence why he fears that cryptid called the Crab Cat.
That's right. Fear the Crab Cat.
Fear the Crab Cat, because
Yes,
that's what would
Jack
scare the
just said.
crap out of a goldfish, right? A talking goldfish, especially.
Yeah.
Lizard
So,
people.
yeah, I've been wanting to tell you that for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, Fear the Crab Cat.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I
I'm
thought
in.
that was
I'm in
cute.
there currently in the reel,
Fear
but
the
I
Crab
get so many people
He's
buying
in the
the merch.
credits.
I'm sure it won't be there for too long. So
I don't know. I took pictures of it.
we're happy to see it.
Have you guys ever seen this?
Oh my God, I love
Kristen
Minions.
certainly has.
Oh,
She loves
Well,
Minions.
oh, here. Then you'll love this because
I have like
It's like,
3.
that's just
Yeah, it's like Christmas.
it's like Christmas.
Oh, I thought you said
You're
Christmas.
like a little kid.
this is just,
Like,
I mean,
we love the Minions. Oh my God.
there's my office is like walking into a giant toy store.
That is so
Yeah.
cool. I have like 4, like what you have. That is so cute.
This Minion was in the McDonald's kids meals and they took it out. Do you know why?
No,
Why?
Because it says what the fuck.
come on.
It does
No.
not.
Listen, wait for it. It'll come. I'll put it over here to the. Come on. Come on. I have 3 of them now. I end up acquiring 2 more. One of them's never even been
Do
opened.
they,
I imagine they're highly collectible.
do they all say that?
Yeah. Let me get the other one out. He'll probably talk better. Yes. And Brandon ended up having to, he went out and bought one, but his is still sealed. Well, I have 2 that are not sealed and 1 that's sealed. So I have 3 of them now.
Wow.
Cheapers.
I just got a collectible, but it's not a Minion. I gotta show you. Since we're doing show and tell,
Yes.
there's a Ozzy Osbourne
Oh, nice.
Funko Pop with the album Diary of a Madman.
It's really cool.
Very cool.
You little bastard.
Included, and he doesn't say what the fuck, which is actually really surprising because it's a
Yeah, no kidding.
and he always says
Does he go, shut?
saying what the fuck, I think. And I know it's
Hear it?
Yep.
It just said, what the fuck? Just a second. Did you hear it say, what the
I'll
fuck?
tell you,
It's so bizarre.
it's pretty good.
It's
you know?
clear, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they took it out of the kids' meals and
That's probably a good thing. What is it supposed to be saying?
Do we know this? Do we pick this
I
apart?
have no idea. It sure. You know, if somebody did as a
Somebody
joke,
lost their job.
hats off to them, man. You know, that's just awesome.
You
Yeah.
had one job.
Somebody came
And
into
you had
the
one job to do, and look what you
That.
did. We're giving you a raise.
Charles, that was you that did the Minion and the Happy Meal thing? Yes, sir.
We're making you CEO.
We're going to see you out. Thank you. Collect your stuff.
Yeah, collect your stuff. Don't pass go and collect $200. You're out of here, buddy. Severance pay my ass.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, this has been a blast talking to you, Rex. We got to do it again soon. And
Absolutely.
we wish you the best on your new book. We
Thank
want a
you.
copy. I've already sent you the email. So throw me a
As soon as
response.
I
Got
get
some of your
'em,
pictures at the skull. We'll put something
I
together,
think
put it
that-
out there, share it.
there's 5 or 6 people that have already gotten a hold of me for them. So as soon as I get them, I will let you know, and I will mail them out that very day.
That's right. You can
Excellent.
email Rex at unexplainableart23@gmail.com and get an autographed copy or a legit copy. Or, you can be lazy and do the Amazon thing. I mean, Rex doesn't mind, but,
No.
Get a sign up.
but if you want to sign one, that
Yeah,
is
and if you want to buy it off Amazon and send it to me and sign it, it's still going to cost. No, I'm kidding. But if you want to do that, I mean, if you want to buy it off Amazon and you really want to send it to me, just let me know and I will sign it and send it back.
right on. That's our friend Steve. He also investigates paranormal. He's got a case to talk to us about. Hey, you got a case? I got an Epiphone, buddy. You'll like that.
Oh, I have to share this Minion story. This is terrible.
Oh, yeah, there it is. The what the fuck?
Wow. I'm sorry. I'm still scrolling on the Minions. I love them so much, and now I want one of these.
Yeah, you can still find them. So you got a new guitar. Have you seen what I added to my collection?
Steve,
Can you tell me whose guitar this is?
Well,
Brian May.
Yes.
Yes, that's a beauty.
Oh, God. Oh,
I am the biggest Queen fan that you're in stature.
And that beast. Wow.
It's when I retired and I said if I could afford it, can I play the guitar? No. Do I have a shitload of them? Yes. But I always wanted to have, a red special, and that's the first thing I did when I retired. Is I got my red special.
That is amazing.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
And I do have his signature Vox amplifier too, the one that he originally put out years ago, back in the 80s. It's still in the box, still has all the paperwork to it too. Yeah, I've got some. I've stuck with the Les Paul. I like
Thank you, Carol.
the shape of it and the way it feels.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's Steve's instrument there in our chat. He plays the Les Paul. For years he had the Epiphone one, but I know he got a Gibson one not too long ago. So.
I do have 2 Epiphones, and rest are, knockoffs. One of them is actually a lawsuit. Did you ever hear about those? The lawsuit?
I think I have, yeah.
I have one. Those were all supposed to be destroyed.
They're very collectible. Right?
I've got one with the original case. Actually, it sits right here. Is this it? Yes. This is a lawsuit. See, it says Crest.
Oh,
it
yeah.
It has the inlay and everything, the exact shape, the exact head that the Gibson has. And this guitar has been played. And I have taken it apart. There are no serial numbers. There's nothing.
Wow.
But this guitar has been
It
played.
came out a while ago. It was before there were so many kind of knockoffs. Like now you can
between what was it, 66 and 69, China or Japan was like, who gives a shit about copyright laws? We're going to go ahead and make these.
Yeah, just go
well, of course, Gibson went like hell you are, and they were all supposed to be destroyed.
Wow.
And I, by chance, come across this one. The case is pink on the inside, and it has been, whoever had it, I mean, the pick guard is scratched up. It's been used, it's been played, and the case is, you can tell that they traveled with it. And I will not get rid of it. I spent months and months and months trying to figure anything about this guitar.
Awesome.
China.
That's a beauty. I'm sure it's super collectible. Well, again, this has been a blast. Everybody get Rex's books.
Yes, please.
Yes, buy my books. I am a struggling artist. Starving artist.
Because it's great. And I'll tell you what, when we do the back-to-back thing, I always get nervous. I'm like, wow, we can't do the same show twice. And it was not that at all. This has been wonderful.
No.
Both shows were great and standalone on their own. Very well. Thank you again, sir.
Yes,
and
thank you.
Thank you.
We'll
Thank
be in
you to
touch,
everybody.
and thank you guys in the audience. Thank you so much for joining us.
We've missed you all.
Yes, thank you. Love you all.
A lot of fun. Right on. Well, have a good, safe weekend. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Good night.
You too. Bye, everybody.